Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco. Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again, and I am here tonight to review, or today, to review Dexter Resurrection Season 1, Episode 8, The Kill Room Where It Happens. Now, look, because I'll say this. I will say this. Last week and then this week, these were prime times where, I could have, thought anything was great, because I've been sick for over a week. I'm getting better at least right now. And, but I've been horribly sick for a week. And, when you're sick, bad movies even can seem really good. Or even just okay movies or okay TV episodes. And last week, that Dexter episode was better than this. Like, it was definitely a lot better. I mean, honestly, I think I was a little harsh with last week's episode. But I think it had a lot to do with the new terrible love interest. But this week, this episode is a stinker. And that's what Safi would say. This episode is a stinkeroo. Okay, and I'll say this. Look, before you give this video a thumbs down, or you unsubscribe, or you throw your phone out the window and, all that, just look. The first half of this episode is terrible. It's terrible because of the story structure and because it's almost by design. It's almost by design because, there were major shifts in this episode behind the scenes. Nothing really went to plan for any of the characters except for Al, who, he escaped New York. And, which is just hilarious. Like, the fact that his character escaped. Out of all the characters, just, wow. I wish that Mia was the one who would have escaped. Honestly, I miss her. But anyways, that's probably just because she's hot and Al is Al. But anyways, the thing is that I can understand why people will love this episode because they did a very smart thing. And they backloaded all of the best stuff in the episode. So the second half and the last 20 minutes, that's the best stuff in the whole episode. And so after you finish the episode, all you're thinking about is wow, that was really good. I just watched this incredible episode, because all you're thinking about is that stuff in the second half. You're not thinking about the whole episode. Well, at least I'm just assuming that because that's what it's like a cheap trick. It's okay, maybe someone makes you a cheeseburger and it's really bad and the fries are really bad. You don't even have anything to drink, but then they give you a really, really good dessert. And so all you're thinking about is wow, that was a really good dessert. You know what? That was a good meal. That's what this episode is to me. It's like a bad entree and a good dessert. So let's get into it because, yeah. So Harrison, the first thing that we see him doing is he is once again babysitting this single mother's little boy. And now, he doesn't even have, a good reason because he's not even trying to get in her pants anymore. And so, it's what are you doing here? Keep in mind, guys, Harrison is supposedly supposed to be 16 years old. A 16-year-old kid is babysitting a child for a 30-something-year-old woman who friend-zoned Harrison. Can you believe that? That's just sickening. It's just absolutely bizarre, retarded. And she shows up and it's God, this is so cringeworthy. like, this relationship, because, like, they have such good chemistry. And it feels like, why aren't they in a relationship? Why wasn't that the story? That's what they should have That's what they should have done. They shouldn't have done what they did. But yeah, the episode opens up with, more talk about the landlord and, Harrison. It's like Harrison has become this boy's father. And it's not even his child. Like, what are you doing? This is why society is so bad now. Because of stuff like this. Like, this is bad. Like, I would understand if he was dating her. That would be one thing. And, honestly, if he's serious, then, a boy or a girl needs a father in their lives. That's for damn sure. But, he's not. It's just so weird. It's so strange. It's really cringeworthy to watch. So then I gotta say, too, remember last week I said take a shot every time Prater says, Charlie, do your job. Well, once again in this episode, Charlie's like, I have a bad feeling about Dexter, which we already knew that after last episode, so that was kind of repetitive. And then he was like, I don't care, Charlie. Do your job. And so once again, so that was good. That was great writing. And then Batista is recording his investigation on his phone. He has like a captain's log on his phone. He had Captain Batista's log. Was he a captain? I think he was. Captain Angel Batista's log on the Dexter investigation. I think that Dexter is the Bayhaba butcher because he goes to these Cuban restaurants. And by the way, the Cuban sandwich, it's not all, it's okay. Oh, I need to get back to the investigation of the Bayhaba butcher. That's what he does. He is recording his investigation. Who is he recording his investigation for? Like, who wants this? Like, it's so hilarious. It's so bad. Like, Angel Batista is the retarded version of Hank from Breaking Bad. Like, I always hated Hank. I will say this, guys. I'm gonna sound so evil. I don't care, though. I really don't care. Okay? Breaking Bad, Walter White is probably my favorite character. If not Saul. Because Better Call Saul's better, but Walter White, I like him a lot better than fucking Hank Schrader. You know why? I've been watching a lot of Breaking Bad clips recently just because, like, they're so entertaining. And I feel almost like I didn't even watch the show, because I watched it when I was, like, 12 or 13. But, Hank was such a jackass. And he had such, like, he was so unlikable. And I'll say, like, he did some things that I thought, that were just as bad as the stuff that Walter did. But, at the end of the day, though, the point is, Hank got shit done. He knew what to do, Hank. He was badass. And that moment where he catches Walt and Tahajali in the final season, I was kind of cheering for Hank a little bit, because I thought it was cool. It was like a cool moment. It was like they wanted to give that moment to Hank just so that they could take it away from him just for fun. They wanted to have that moment in the show, but they didn't want to commit to it. But yeah, that was really, really cool. But at the same time, I never liked Hank a lot. He was funny. Angel Batista, he's a funny guy. He's a funny character. I think that Dexter is the Bayhaba butcher. It's funny to say that all that stuff is funny, but he is a trash character because he is so sloppy and he is so, stupid. He's so stupid, and the stuff that he does in this episode, it's like, God, he's really, really desperate. And for me, is a new viewer who hasn't seen all the other seasons, I can't really sympathize with his character. I think that he's a Nimrod. You know, like, I think that he's it's like in Willy Wonka, you know, where Veruca, where she steps on the egg decatur and she falls in, and then the dad goes rushing to help her, and then he falls in too. It's like Batista really has it coming, you know, because like he's not doing things smartly. He's stupid. He's dumb. Yeah. So that whole recording thing was hilarious, you know, because in the promo for this episode, see, I should probably stop watching the promos, but I think that promos for TV shows are cool because it reminds me of a better time where we had, like, real TV shows like Dexter, you know, like these long seasons, and, you know, they would come once a year, and, you know, that's what it reminds me of. So it's kind of like a comfort, like, nostalgia thing. But, yeah. But in the promo, they made it seem like Batista was going to tell Claudette about the tracker, like, early on in the episode. You know, like, he was going to let her know and she was going to give him the okay or something. But no, like, that never happened. I mean, just, wow. So let's talk about Dexter and Blessing. Okay, where is this? So Dexter gets more acupuncture, and he accidentally tells Blessing's daughter about Blessing's past, and she gets really upset that he would tell Dexter, but he won't tell his own daughter. And then later in the episode, Blessing confronts Dexter, and he tells him, "You betrayed me, Dexter! You betrayed me!" It's really funny, you know, because it's like, Dexter kind of feels bad. And see, this is what's funny, is that, like, last episode, or was it the episode before, Dexter had really artificial emotion, and it didn't really seem like he cared. But in this episode, it was funny because it seemed like he did care. And so I thought that was really weird, that whole side story, you know, and yeah, that was weird. It just seemed like this episode, it was a frustrating episode. Everything about it was frustrating on purpose, I guess, like by design. And yeah, that was weird. So Dexter plans on killing Al, but Al actually surprises Dexter, and he goes home early. And there were actually a lot of weird things about that phone call, and so I think that there is more to the story, which is actually kind of cool. I really like that. I thought that was a cool surprise. He said that he left halfway through Hamilton, or he couldn't even get, he left at intermission because he didn't know that it was a rap show. I thought that was really strange. I kind of think that was fake. He definitely left already. And then he does something weird. He throws his phone out the window. That's the phone that he used to communicate with Prater too. And so I think either he suspects Dexter or he just wanted to completely disengage from the group, the serial killer group. So yeah. So Dexter has to pivot, you know, he's really frustrated, you know, I mean, and I was frustrated too, you know, because obviously, like, after last episode, you wanted to see Al get killed, but, like, you know, we'll probably get to see him killed in a future episode, which I'll be really excited for that. But anyways, Dexter has to pivot, and he pivots to Harrison's friend zone girlfriend's landlord, who he is still not doing anything to help out, and he's still being a huge piece of shit. And so what's funny is that this landlord, he fits the code. He has allowed people to, you know, get seriously injured or get killed for various reasons. And so Dexter kind of, he kind of fudges like a reason to kill him. And then the part that I really loved was this stuff where he took the landlord to this salon, which everyone thought was a wig shop, and all he does is threaten him. He doesn't kill him. I thought that was really cool. I thought that I thought it would have been so predictable and stupid for him to kill him, and then Harrison would get mad about, oh, I told you not to kill him, and like all that crap. So, but what's really funny. Okay, there we go. Sorry guys, this is what I have, these notes that I go through. We'll talk about the mophead bitch too. We'll get to her, don't worry. But yeah. Oh yeah, and also I like that he wore this like goofy stocking mask. Dexter did. He wore like a mask made out of stockings, I think. And apparently he did that in the books. So I thought that was really creative and fun, and that was kind of cool. But Angel is stalking Dexter with no authority to do so. And then he breaks into the salon. He breaks into a salon because he thinks that Dexter is inside there. He doesn't hear a scream. He doesn't see any blood. And then after Dexter puts a scare in the landlord, he lets him go. And so then the landlord runs over Angel, and Angel does not see Dexter. He only sees the landlord. So there's no proof, even though there was like a plastic like kill room set up, there's no proof that Dexter was going to kill that guy. Like, honestly, like you could say, oh, well, maybe Dexter, maybe he thought that, he was thinking about the Bay Haba Butcha. And so he thought that he could put a scare into the landlord by pretending to be the Bay Harbor Butcher. Like, that's actually like a logical, like a rational thing to think. Right? Because, like, so yeah, I think that's something to think about, just like, because it just shows Batista, he's so biased and he's so sloppy, and, I don't know why he thought he had like a gotcha for Claude, and then she shows up with her partner. That part was hilarious and this is actually the first episode where I really liked Claude, which also, I gotta say, Claude, she looks smoking when she wears like dark blue. It looks really, really good on her, I gotta say. That's just a side note. That's a footnote. That's a footnote in this video. But anyways, I really liked her in this episode because she hit on all of the criticisms that I had about Angel's method for getting Dexter. And then, she thinks he's insane. She thinks he's an idiot. And then she calls Quinn from the original series, which I have not seen the original series, so I don't know who that is. But apparently the fans really like him. And he kind of makes it seem like Batista could be the bad guy. And so there is a fan theory that Batista might be framed as the Bay Haba Butcha, which I think would be hilarious because it is totally parallel to Breaking Bad, where Walter, made that blackmail tape where he called Hank the mastermind behind the whole thing, behind Heisenberg. So that might actually happen for real, but with Batista. And so honestly, like, this is the problem. This might be a problem, is that this show has run parallel to Breaking Bad in such a way to where, like, I'm more interested in Breaking Bad than I am with this show, because Breaking Bad wasn't stupid like this. This episode was not very good. And so all this show is doing now is making me think about Breaking Bad. And so that's pretty bad. I gotta say. But yeah. I also think, too, I wish that, Batista, I want him to get killed, but it is really kind of depressing that, like, he can't be, like, a more formidable character. Like, in the early half of the season, it felt like he was going to be, like, this badass, like, force that Dexter had to go up against. That, and I will say that, at the end of this season, when I give it, like, a full season review, that's going to be a big issue for me, is that what the season could have been versus how the season turned out. Because no matter how good or bad it is, like, it turned out a lot differently than I thought it would. And I also think it was very rushed. Sorry, rushed. I thought it was very rushed. But yeah. Okay. And then Dexter, he finds the tracker and destroys it. He figures it out in 2 seconds. Go figure. Now let's talk about... Okay, also, let's talk about... There's a lot of talk this episode about keeping your killing life and your personal life separate. I don't know why they've like made that like a main like theme in the show. But like that was a big part of this episode. And they just like constantly like brought that up, and I thought it was so stupid. It's such a modern mindset, It's such a modern mindset that, like, I guess what they're trying to do is they're trying to show that everyone has, like, secrets that they keep separate from, their lives or something. Like, I really, really don't like it. And, because honestly, I feel like the only way that Dexter gets out of his situation at the end of the series, I feel like him and his son are going to have to work together. I feel like he's going to have to get his son involved. Or else. So, yeah. And then, okay, there's this really funny part, too, where Blessing's daughter talked about how her dad wants her around all the time. And he wants her to stay as close to him as possible. But it's really funny because Dexter's father, he is around Dexter like every single scene in the whole show. And like he's around Dexter more than like a parent is around their like 5-year-old child. And then and that's another thing too, that it's really ironic, this whole constant like, oh, you gotta keep your killing life and your personal life separate, but Dexter and his father are literally like a dynamic duo throughout the entire show. So how does that make any sense? That's so hypocritical. And it's such a... I mean, like, it's a blatant, like, double standard. I know that he's a ghost. I know that he's just a hallucination, but still, like, if you're hallucinating that your family member is with you, then you're not keeping your quote-unquote killing life and your personal life separate. So, yeah, it's just another retarded... And, I gotta say... I know that I've sounded really evil in this video. I sided with Walter White, who, poisoned a child, which, honestly, like, people did worse in the Breaking Bad universe all the time. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that, because I'll really make you guys upset. But I can't stand people who say stuff like, you got to keep, like, your professional and your personal life separate. I can't stand people like that. I despise people like that. I despise... Because you know why? Because I hate limiting beliefs. I hate people who have limiting beliefs, and I hate, like, this modern... Like, you know what modern society is? It's like a bunch of fucking cave people, cave dwellers, telling other cave dwellers, hey, you gotta do this and that just because. Like, there's no actual good reason. And that's the same thing for this. Like, Dexter proved that in this episode because he took Harrison's landlord and he scared him into doing the right things. That was not keeping his personal life separate from his killing life. And so, again, it's like, why are they acting like that's a good thing? Like, why are they, like, they even proved that wrong in this fucking episode. It's so weird, guys. It's so weird. What does that mean? He proved that wrong. He didn't keep his killing life separate. He doubled down. He doubled down, guys. So I hate that. I hate it. Excuse me. That is a personal bias for me, though, so I will admit that. That kind of affects my feelings on this episode, which I don't care. You know, at least I admit that I have biases as a reviewer. You know, other reviewers, you know, they're like, oh, well, I'm just, it's a objective opinion. You know, it's like, well, honestly, when you're a reviewer, there's no such thing as an objective opinion. Okay, so Harrison. Little Iron Boy Jr. Harrison takes the moped on a date. He takes her out to dance at a club. That is the number one place that you don't take a woman. You don't take a woman to a club to dance, you stupid fuck. But Harrison does that. He takes the moped to dance. What kind? I mean, he needs his father. He needs Dexter. Dexter's got to come in there. He's got to say, hey, Harrison, what the fuck are you doing here with this moped? She's got a wig on. She's got a platinum wig on her fucking head. Why does she have a wig on? Why? They do this weird editing thing where, like, they're editing in between them dancing and they're talking, and she talks about how she wants to be a law enforcement, but she has nerve damage. And it's like, God, who cares? I don't care about this character. Have him hook up with the Latina chick. God. But no. Guess what happens, guys? He takes her back to the hotel, I guess. I didn't know what's going on. I was eating my dinner. I was pissed off. I was taking a bite of a nice grilled cheese sandwich that I made all by myself because I am the master grilled cheese maker. And here you have Harrison. He takes her back to the hotel. And no sex, guys. This is what you call modern TV shows. No sex. Just a guy giving a woman fellatio. Head. And it's like, wow. You just checked another modern TV show, modern movie, check mark, check box. And look, it's not. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing to do in real life. Like, obviously, I'm not. I'm not going to talk about real life right now. But it's a very good thing. It's a very fun thing. It's a very. It's not. I'm not. I endorse going down on a woman. I don't disapprove of that. I endorse that very much. In fact, I highly recommend it. But at the same time, this is very much a modern type of thing to do. And it is very much a result of the sex police who are on all the sets nowadays. Instead of having a sex scene, you have the guy giving fellatio to a woman. Because it's a symbol of the woman having all the power and the guy giving up all his power. And you see that in all these modern movies. You hardly ever see like sex scenes anymore. You hardly ever, and if you do, they look like shit, and the people have their clothes on. It looks terrible. It looks awful. It doesn't look like anything how it used to, and we all know why. But this has become like a trend now, and it was really stupid. It was really gay. It was and gay is like as in like stupid and dumb. The thing that's just really stupid about it is that it's like, I already was pissed off at the fact that he's on a date with the mop head. But then you had to do that too. And it just pissed me off that much more. But yeah. I don't know what to do with Harrison. And, he hooked up with a really revolting woman, the next day. They're in the elevator. There's this really cringy, like Gen Z dialogue where, and I did not know I was Gen Z, but I do not endorse being Gen Z. Okay, I mean I hate Gen Z. I don't even feel like Gen Z. Like who even is Gen Z? I'm all by myself. Okay, I'm my own person. I keep my personal life separate from my generation. See how that works, motherfuckers? Okay, but anyways, what my point was in the elevator, this bitch is like, I can't believe my first time happened in a fancy hotel. I always wanted it to happen in a fancy hotel. And Harrison is like, oh, really? It was your first time? I didn't know you. Oh, you're just screwing with me. And it's like, God, this is so cringe. Like, this is the epitome of modern dialogue, modern romance, modern shit. A woman joking about how this isn't her first time because, she's got a high body count and, she's been there all over the place. She has a higher body count than Dexter probably. I can guarantee from that nose ring alone, daddy issue. You got daddy issues going on. You got the mop head wig going on. You got the mean eyes. The eyes that look like like she's like, you probably voted for Trump because you didn't like the female Ghostbusters. You look at that woman and you can see trouble. You can see bad people from that woman. You can see this character, this love interest. She is what you call mophead, which I already did. So that was kind of anticlimactic. Wah, wah, wah. Now you can feel how I felt watching this episode. This episode this episode should have been called Blue Balls. Okay, it should have been called Dexter Resurrection, Season 1, Episode 8, Blue Balls. That's what I felt. That's what everyone probably felt. I was very let down. And then finally, Prater and Charlie find Dexter having dinner with his son at a restaurant, and so that is the end of the episode. I love that too. So overall, it's really tough because this was a frustrating episode, and it was frustrating on purpose. And there were some major things that I didn't like. I'm really torn on what to rate the episode because, again, they backloaded the episode with all the best stuff. So that's what I'm thinking about. Now, I'm not thinking about the mop head. I'm thinking about all the good stuff in the episode, like Angel Batista and Dexter, the little cat and mouse game they have going on, and how Al got away. I thought that was cool. But the entire first half of the episode is trash. So I'll give this episode... You know what? I'm going to be really nice because I think that I really underrated last week's episode, even though... listen, every show, you have to adjust your grades based on the show itself. Like by the end of Better Call Saul, which we'll talk about in a second, I graded every episode on a curve. I still gave a lot of episodes Fs, but even the Fs, I graded them on a curve. Because at that point, the show had gone so downhill that, I adjusted my expectations. And I adjusted my grades based on what they gave me. And for this show, I'll say it's a B-. Last week's grade I will amend to a B+. So yeah, no. I give last week's episode a B+, but I give this one a C+, because I can't give it a B. I don't like the mop head. Sorry. Now, let's talk about modern TV show structure. Because I think that, it's really frustrating because episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, all of them had a lot of major things happen. All of them were very climactic. They had a lot of stuff. They were very much like meat and potatoes episodes. This episode was one where they slowed things down. And it was just like not really much stuff happened. It wasn't very good. Because it feels like all they're doing is just building up to something else. And this is very much a part of the modern TV show formula. If you guys don't know, Better Call Saul, it got really bad by the end of the series. It got terrible. It got laughably bad. And there's this formula that modern TV shows do where, people will excuse 5 bad episodes if the 6th one is a 10 out of 10. It's all about okay, those 4 or 5 episodes were really bad, sure. They were really mediocre, not much happened. But at least that other episode was really good, right? At least everything that they built up to was really, really good. So all of that bad stuff is excused for some reason. That's what happens a lot nowadays. They'll make all these bad episodes, these episodes that are really, they're just kind of there. There are some things that happen in them that's like, yeah, that was good. That was good. But all that it's about is building up to whatever big moments that they have planned in episodes 9 or 10. So who knows? But I just wanted to tell you guys about that, because I feel like that's something that I've kind of seen, but I don't think that a lot of other people have picked up on. It's a very modern writing thing to do, because TV shows, that's all they have. They don't have 20 episodes to develop and to go into things really, really hardcore and to really, really, do a lot of stuff. All they have is that handful of episodes. So why take a chance on trying to make all 10 episodes great if you can just build up to certain episodes being really good? You know what I mean? Maybe you don't. I don't know. But maybe I'm just crazy like Batista and I need to go eat a Cuban sandwich and shut up. But anyways, I hope you guys liked this video. And if you enjoyed this video, I am going to say I have a Patreon. And it is called the Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies Patreon. I talked about it last week. Safi talked about it for me. Which, by the way, do you guys think that Safi did a good job reading my review? She read my review. It was like robot text-to-speech reading my video. Reading my review, it was really funny. Because, the whole time while you guys were listening to her review, I was sitting right there, listening to every single thing that she said. And just delivering every single line wrong. It was really funny. But yeah, This Patreon page, though, I highly recommend you join it. After I finish my Andy Griffith Show rewatch, I will be doing a full Dexter series rewatch. Or actually, not a rewatch, a watch. I'm going to react to every episode of the Dexter series exclusively on Patreon. But just so I met people who can't join for, personal reasons, I will be doing seasonal reviews that I will post on my YouTube channel. So that is kind of like the compromise. Like, all the reactions, the first time reactions, will be on Patreon only, but the season reviews will be on YouTube for free. But yeah, I mean, Patreon, if you guys really enjoy our content, you are not going to want to miss out. I did a Snow White commentary last week. It might be one of my favorite commentaries or videos that I've ever done. And it is going to have a lot of other exclusive content. And no matter which tier you join, you will get your name in the credits of one of my filmmaking projects, of which I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, one of them is already complete. It will be released on October 31st. But until then, again, join our Patreon. Link is in the description. You will not regret it. Tons of stuff coming. Tons of stuff going. Safi might do something on Patreon. Who knows with Safi? She might do something. Who the fuck knows? I promise, though, guys, I will not do anything. No, I don't even know what I was going to say. I was going to say something about the moped or something. I can't remember. No. Okay. I am not going to let the moped get away. Okay, guys? Like, I am not going to not be in another review. I am going to roast the moped every chance I get because I hate the character. I mean, Harrison looks like he's 30. I don't know why they're pretending like he's a teenager and they're doing all that shit. I think that's stupid. And he should just get with the Latina woman. I mean, they set up her character. It's really, really disappointing. Honestly, that's got to be one of the biggest disappointments about this season is Harrison. Harrison's character is complete trash. And his whole story, like at the first part of the season, you thought that it was going to be a certain way. And his character he has turned out to be like the biggest disappointment of all time. This is the second time that they've done that in a Showtime show. They did that on Californication, which Californication is my favorite TV show of all time. Shout out to Hank Moody. But in the final season of Californication, David Duchovny's character, he finds out that he has a son that he never knew about, and his name is Levon. And his Levon is the biggest piece of fuck. He's the biggest piece of shit that you could ever see. And that's what Harrison is turning out to be. Harrison, you are trash. At least for now. Because I don't know what, like, they set all this stuff up, like with him being with that woman and her son and all that, and they made a good couple. I never even thought that he was 16. Who cares anyway? He's not 16 in real life, so who cares? He's helping that kid out, and I don't understand what they were thinking with Harrison, to be quite honest. Like that, and that whole thing with like keeping your killing life and your personal life separate, it's fucking retarded. He has not done that. Dexter has not done that the entire season. The whole season has been about him and Harrison reconnecting, and Harrison knows that Dexter is a killer and that he's still killing people. So by definition, There's no separation. So I despise that shit. But anyways, I need to stop. I need to end it. Please like this video and comment if you enjoyed my commentary on Angel Batista getting the Behaba Butcher. And then please subscribe to our channel, because I put a tracker on his car. I broke into the salon. Oh, whoops, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, I'm gonna play my widow recording for Claude. Oh, this is me talking. Oh, I do not sound like a crazy person. I am Captain Angel Bautista, and I am not a special police officer. I am a captain. I am a former captain police officer. So please subscribe to this channel if you want to see me maybe catch the Behaba Butcher. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.